Something had changed, and fans felt it from the very first moment. Not from an official statement, not from an exclusive interview, but from small moments that felt too real to ignore. When cameras caught an interaction between Song Weilong and Zhao Jinmai, the online world seemed to pause and then explode. What was really happening between them? It all started with a seemingly ordinary public appearance. There was no big announcement, no planned surprise. But the way they stood side by side, the way they glanced at each other, everything felt different. Observant fans immediately noticed the change, as if a new energy had emerged between them. In some of the circulating clips, Song Weilong could be seen leaning slightly toward Zhao Jinmai while speaking. It was a simple gesture, but enough to make fans wonder. Was it just a habit or a sign of deeper comfort? Zhao Jinmai was equally captivating. Her smile felt softer, more personal. Not a formal smile for the camera, but something that seemed genuine, as if she was truly enjoying every moment they were together. Their interactions also felt more natural than before. There was no awkwardness, no distance that usually exists between two actors who have only just worked together. On the contrary, they seemed like two people who had known each other for a long time. Fans began to piece together these moments. From short videos to candid photos, everything was analyzed in detail. Every look, every laugh, every small gesture became the subject of endless discussion. One of the most talked about moments was when they laughed together for no apparent reason in front of the camera. There was no dialogue, but their expressions were enough to convey that there was something only the two of them understood. Things like this were what convinced fans. This kind of chemistry was difficult to fake. It emerged naturally, without a script, without direction. But of course, not everyone was immediately convinced. Some argued that this was simply part of the promotion or professionalism as colleagues. In the entertainment industry, this kind of closeness is nothing new. Even so, something felt different this time. Many said their relationship seemed more lively. It wasn't stiff, it didn't feel forced, it just flowed naturally. Social media was filled with speculation. Hashtags related to their names began trending, and comments poured in from all over the world. Everyone had their own theories. Some fans even began comparing this interaction to their past moments. And that's where the differences became even more apparent. There were subtle, but significant changes. Their gazes now lingered longer. Small touches that were once barely noticeable were now apparent. Even the way they spoke to each other felt more relaxed and personal. What made things even more intriguing was the fact that there was no official confirmation from either of them. No clarification, no explanation, just silence, which only fueled the speculation. And perhaps that's the appeal. When something isn't explained, people tend to seek answers on their own. And in this case, fans seemed to be enjoying every second of the mystery. Some believed their relationship might be developing slowly, away from the public eye. Others remained skeptical, dismissing this as just fan overinterpretation. But one thing was undeniable. Their interactions had captured the attention of many. Even those who hadn't previously followed the two closely were now intrigued. This phenomenon demonstrates how powerful chemistry can be both on and off screen. When two people have a connection that feels real, the audience can feel it, even through the small screen. Is this just a close friendship? Or is it something more? These questions continue to swirl in the minds of fans, with no definitive answer. And perhaps it's precisely that uncertainty that makes it all so compelling. Because in a world filled with artificial certainties, moments that feel real become something truly precious. So, what do you think? Is this just a coincidence? Or the beginning of something bigger that hasn't yet been revealed to the public? This growing speculation slowly turned into a phenomenon in itself. Every new post involving Song Weilong and Zhao Jinmai was flooded with thousands of comments within minutes. Even details as small as their facial expressions or sitting positions could spark lengthy debates among fans. Interestingly, some fans began to feel that this change wasn't sudden. They believed that this closeness had been building for a long time, only now it was more visible and no longer hidden behind professionalism. On several occasions, they were seen showing small gestures of attention to each other that might go unnoticed by most. like waiting for each other before walking, or reflexively turning their heads when the other was speaking. These simple things felt the most honest. There were also moments where Zhao Jinmai seemed more relaxed around Song Weilong, as if his presence provided a sense of comfort. And conversely, Song Weilong seemed more expressive, something rarely seen in his previous public appearances. Fans who had long followed their careers began to feel like they were witnessing a new chapter slowly unfolding. Not just as actors, but as two individuals who might be building something more personal. But behind all that, there's another side that makes many people cautious. The entertainment world is often full of illusions, and many relationships that seem real are actually just part of a publicity stunt. This leads some fans to choose to remain rational. Even so, it's hard to ignore the feelings that arise when watching their interactions. There's a warmth that can't be explained through logic alone. Something that feels spontaneous, not the result of planning. And perhaps this is what makes their story so compelling to follow. Not because of certainty, but because of possibility. Not because of clear facts, but because of the emotions felt. Ultimately, whether this is just a coincidence magnified by the public spotlight, or truly a sign of a growing relationship, only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the world is watching, and everyone is eagerly awaiting the next chapter in this still mysterious story. As time passes, the attention on Song Weilong and Zhao Jinmai has only intensified. Not only from loyal fans, but also from casual viewers who may not have previously followed the two closely. There's an inexplicable attraction, something that makes people want to keep watching their developments. Some entertainment analysts have even begun to chime in, discussing how the dynamic between the two seems different from that of a typical on-screen couple. They note that this apparent connection has a rare quality, not overdone, but strong enough to feel real. On the other hand, their moments together have also begun to be seen as something to look forward to. Each appearance together now seems to bring new hope to fans eager to see more of their natural interactions. One thing is increasingly clear: the two don't seem to be trying too hard to appear close. That's precisely why it all feels more convincing. There are no overly dramatic gestures, no forced expressions. Everything flows in a simple way. Some fans have even begun to imagine what it would be like if they actually had a relationship outside of work. These imaginations have blossomed into lengthy discussions filled with theories, hopes, and, of course, growing curiosity. But beneath all this speculation, there's also a growing sense of respect. Many realize that whatever happened between them is something private, something that perhaps shouldn't be made public. This creates a unique balance among fans, between intense curiosity and a desire to maintain boundaries. A dynamic rarely seen in the typically intense world of fandom. Interestingly, the less information available, the stronger the fans' sense of connection. This mystery is actually the fuel that keeps their story alive and growing. And ultimately, perhaps this is what keeps everyone coming back, not just for answers, but to relive the emotions that arise every time they see these two share a moment, no matter how small.